Picture yourself wandering through bustling ancient Roman streets in 67 AD, witnessing a scene that chills your soul. Emperor Nero strolls confidently through the forum beside what appears to be his elegant new bride, a stunning young woman adorned in luxurious silks and precious gems. Yet whispered conversations follow their path, harboring a dark secret. The beautiful woman beside Rome's most powerful ruler was once a young man named Sporus. Nero's treatment of him represents one of history's most chilling examples of systematic psychological and physical torment. This tale transcends typical Roman decadent stories. It reveals how unlimited authority corrupts love into possession, transforms sorrow into insanity, and reduces a living person into an animated puppet fulfilling one individual's warped desires. Nero wasn't inherently evil. His early reign showed extraordinary promise. Ascending to power at 16, Romans anticipated a golden era. He lowered taxes, sponsored public spectacles, and performed in dramatic presentations that captivated citizens. The young ruler seemed destined for greatness. However, unlimited power corrupts even gifted individuals. By 65 AD, something catastrophic fractured within the emperor's psyche. Perhaps constant paranoia or the isolation of unchallenged authority drove him toward madness. Court officials noticed alarming changes: explosive fury over minor offenses, escalating demands for worship, and most disturbing, growing inability to separate wishes from reality. She was Poppaea Sabina, stunning, intelligent, and ambitious enough to embrace Nero's visions of eternal fame. Beyond beauty, she wielded sharp political instincts, understanding Rome's intricate machinery better than many senators. Nero remained married to Octavia when he first glimpsed Poppaea. Their union was a strategic alliance strengthening Nero's authority claim. Poppaea represented Octavia's complete opposite. Where Octavia remained modest and dutiful, Poppaea radiated charisma and commanded attention. What began as conventional Roman scandal rapidly transformed into dangerous obsession. Nero became consumed by Poppaea in ways that alarmed his advisors. He erupted into murderous rages when other men glanced at her, stationed guards around her constantly, and scrutinized every interaction for signs of betrayal. Nero's obsession extended beyond typical romantic attachment. He showered Poppaea with presents depleting the imperial treasury and began reshaping reality to accommodate his fixation. He divorced Octavia and married Poppaea in an unprecedented display of extravagance. Yet even marriage couldn't satisfy Nero's compulsion to possess Poppaea entirely. He separated her from family and friends, surrounding her with individuals dependent solely on his approval. Despite her political expertise, Poppaea found herself increasingly confined within a gilded prison of imperial obsession. The tragic day in 65 AD began as an ordinary domestic dispute. According to Tacitus, the confrontation escalated when pregnant Poppaea questioned Nero's priorities, suggesting he valued public reputation over family duties. The conflict exposed their relationship's true nature, not loving partnership but power struggle between an obsessed dictator and a woman refusing complete domination. In uncontrolled fury, Nero struck his pregnant wife with devastating force, causing fatal internal injuries. The woman he had obsessed over was dying by his own violence. Nero's grief became legendary. He refused traditional cremation, having Poppaea embalmed and entombed more elaborately than previous emperors. He declared her divine and spent days conversing with her corpse. The imperial court now navigated a dangerous environment where everyone participated in the fiction that Poppaea remained alive. During this imperial madness, Sporus first captured Nero's attention. The youth, approximately 14 or 15, was a freed slave educated for administrative roles within imperial bureaucracy. What distinguished Sporus wasn't his intelligence or abilities, it was his extraordinary resemblance to deceased Poppaea, particularly around the eyes and bone structure. The first time Nero encountered Sporus after Poppaea's death, something triggered within his fractured mind. Here was an opportunity to resurrect what he had destroyed through his own brutality. For someone convinced of his divinity, altering someone's gender seemed a minor challenge. Nero summoned Rome's most skilled physicians and commanded them to perform surgery on Sporus purely to feminize his appearance, regardless of costs. This wasn't mere mutilation, it was systematic annihilation of Sporus's human identity. The procedure was dangerous, agonizing, and irreversible. Sporus would remain forever altered physically, emotionally, and socially. Once Sporus recovered, Nero announced he would marry the young man in a complete imperial wedding ceremony. Preparations consumed months and enormous treasury resources. Sporus received a new identity, Sabina, and was prepared for his new role as Nero's wife. Imperial seamstresses created his entire wardrobe, master jewelers crafted ornaments incorporating Papia's gems, and makeup artists taught him cosmetic techniques. Hairdressers styled his hair in elaborate patterns, while tutors taught feminine behavior and deportment. Voice coaches modified his speech patterns to adopt higher tones and feminine discourse. The wedding occurred in spring 67 AD with unlimited imperial resources. The ceremony included all traditional Roman rituals before carefully selected guests capable of maintaining the elaborate fiction. To uninformed observers, it resembled a normal imperial wedding, but those understanding the truth recognized they were witnessing unprecedented imperial madness. Following the wedding, Nero treated Sporus exactly as a legitimate empress, providing all material privileges while demanding complete erasure of his original identity. Every day became a high-stakes performance where the slightest error could mean death. Sporus had to respond as if he were Papia herself, drawing on taught information about her personality and relationship with Nero. By 68 AD, Nero's excesses pushed the Roman establishment beyond breaking point. Rebellions erupted across the empire, the Praetorian Guard declared opposition, and the Senate condemned him as an enemy of the state. When Nero fled Rome, Sporus accompanied him in desperate flight. Nero's suicide in June 68 AD ended the Julio-Claudian dynasty, leaving Sporus incredibly vulnerable as a symbol of imperial excess. After Nero's death, powerful men saw Sporus as valuable political property. Vitellius eventually gained control, planning to use Sporus in public sexual humiliation at the Colosseum for Roman entertainment. Rather than submit to this final degradation, Sporus made the only choice truly his own in years. He ended his life, probably by poison, sometime in 69 AD at approximately 20 years old, having spent his entire adult life as a prisoner in someone else's fantasy. In choosing death, Sporus finally escaped the grotesque theater consuming his life and reclaimed the one power no emperor could take, determining his own fate. His suicide was both personal tragedy and final defiance, refusing further degradation even at ultimate cost. Sporus' story reminds us that behind every historical narrative of imperial grandeur lie individual human stories of suffering and survival deserving our attention and compassion. His life was tragedy, but his final act was victory, refusing reduction to someone else's fantasy, even when that refusal cost him everything. The boy forced to become an empress endured years of abuse with remarkable resilience before choosing death over further degradation. His story deserves remembrance not just as imperial curiosity, but as testament to both human cruelty and dignity facing unimaginable circumstances.